won a thriller in Portland last night on a Mikal Bridges, there it is, buzzer beater 3 in overtime. Stephen A., what did Bridges nailing this last shot say to you?
Well, I know the brother can play. I really do. But I'm going to ask y'all to take that highlight off the screen. And I know this is supposed to be a quick take, but I have to say something right now, and I'm glad Big Perk is here. Tom Thibodeau is in trouble. He's in a world of trouble. I don't give a damn that the New York Knicks are 6-1 in overtime games. I don't care that Mikal Bridges, but so much, of course, because I'm a diehard Knicks fan and he won the game last night. Molly, Big Perk, prior to the game, Mikal Bridges revealed he had a private meeting with Tom Thibodeau about the starters playing too many minutes and the bench playing too little, saying, quote, sometimes it's not fun on the body. Tom Thibodeau proceeds to play this brother 41 minutes, put the ball in his hands. He delivered the goods, and they won the game, which is a good thing. But then Tom Thibodeau refused to acknowledge that there was a one-on-one conversation. He said it never happened. That's a player that the Knicks sent 5 picks away for to bring to New York to pair with the superstar for the team, Jalen Brunson, his former teammate at Villanova, okay, saying something opposite that the coach is saying, and everybody and their mother knows that Bridges is right. And here's where Bridges has the credibility. Molly, Perk can testify to this. He's one of the Iron Men of the league. He's always playing. He doesn't miss games, and he doesn't play minimal minutes. And Perk, when? Because we know I got a whole bunch. I know I do NBA Countdown with you, but I got a lot of stuff to do, okay? I'm not on the NBA every moment of every day like you are. Big Perk, when have we ever heard Mikal Bridges complain about anything, let alone minutes? That's not the same page. That's not a good look for the New York Knicks. And if you got to choose between a player and the coach, under these circumstances, when you're looking at players being worn out, Mikal Bridges ain't say that for himself, y'all. He's speaking for the team. And Tom Thibodeau says it didn't happen? That's a bad sign. It's a bad sign. It's a bad sign.
But that's in Tom Thibodeau's defense, did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said in his interview to Mikal Bridges' comments? He basically pointed out that when you look at the top guy on their team that's playing the most minutes, I believe it was Jalen Brunson. I think it was. Okay. He's knocking at the door. He's top 20 in the league. And then he pointed out that his wings, yes, Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, if you look over the last month and a half or so, their minutes have went down to 36 minutes a game. And he also talked about the parent and why OG and Mikal Bridges play so many minutes, because they're quote unquote elite wing defenders. So if you're playing against a Jason Tatum or playing against a LeBron James or Jaylen Brown, and those guys are playing 40 minutes, 9 times out of 10, the coach are going to match those minutes. You have to. But here's the problem that I have with Mikal Bridges saying that. What did they give up? What did the New York Knicks give up to get Mikal Bridges?
5 first-round picks. 5.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because Kevin Durant is not complaining. Yeah, it is.
That is not fair. No, it's not. It's not fair. It's not fair, and I'm gonna tell you why. Perk, if you are an Iron Man, listen to me, bro. If you are an Iron Man who has been in this league for close to a decade and never, ever, ever complained, all your years in Phoenix, in Brooklyn, you are known as one of the Iron Men of the league. Minutes played, games played, no load management with this brother. The fact of the matter is him saying something when you know the history. Listen, we know, and I hope Tom Thibodeau's watching. I know Tom Thibodeau is a great coach. I am proud to have him as a head coach for the New York Knicks, man. I love the fact that every time this man is demanding his teams go out there and play hard, nothing but profound respect for him. But the one Achilles heel that he has had in New York before that, in Minnesota, in Chicago, is that he will run players into the ground. his top 7 players. We know that, Perk. And if that's your reputation, you got to guard against that. You can't have somebody like Mikal Bridges pointing that out and ignore it. I'm not going to ignore Mikal Bridges. He's not one that says something like that lightly. He wouldn't do that.
See, this is the problem that I have, is that when people say that, they're not clarifying and talking about the whole thing when you talk about Tom Thibodeau in this narrative that's been out far as him running guys into the ground. What they're speaking on is that when he was in Chicago, when he was in Minnesota, they're talking about how Tom Thibodeau used to practice so much throughout the course of the season and how long his practices used to be. They talk about how Tom Thibodeau used to have guys taping their ankles for shoot-around. Tom Thibodeau is not doing that anymore. Guys are getting days off. Here's another thing. Who's one of Tom Thibodeau's assistant coaches? Is Rick Brunson, right?
Rick Brunson, yes.
So Stephen A., you're telling me that Rick Brunson don't have a voice? You're telling me that Rick Brunson don't have a great enough relationship with his son, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, so that he could go relay messages to Tom Thibodeau and be that in-between guy if these guys really felt some type of way?
Perk.
I took it as, I took it as Mikal Bridges was actually just going to war to get some of his guys more minutes and more trust from Tom Thibodeau off the bench. I don't think it was a knock of saying that these guys are tired that's playing a lot of minutes.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That part is fair. What I'm saying is, if you're Tom Thibodeau, the one thing that you cannot have said about you is what Mikal Bridges said. There is nothing else to complain about with Tom Thibodeau. And we can't just look at numbers. We can't just look at the minutes played because you don't know what they're doing in practice. It's not like they're going to dime him out and talk about what he's doing in practice. They might have done that in Minnesota. They might have done that in Chicago because that was a different climate. This climate in New York City, that's not the case. But to still and all find yourself in a position where a guy like Mikal Bridges, top 3 in minutes played, top 3 in minutes played, doesn't miss games. One of the biggest things you rave about with him is his reliability. You can trust that on a night-in, night-out basis, 70, when we got in the age of load management, this brother is giving you anywhere from 77 to 80 to 82 games a year. This is what he does. And he is the one that comes out and says that. Why? You're right. They got assistant coaches to send that message, the very same message that you just brought out. They got assistant coaches to do that. They got Brunson to do that. They got other players to do that. Mikal Bridges, who says nothing. And then all of a sudden, he says this, and you're going to dismiss it when you know that's not his MO? He doesn't do that, Perk. He doesn't do that. So if Perk never says anything, if Perk never says anything to somebody, and then all of a sudden, one day, Perk comes out of the blue, and he goes in